slow-cooked, fiery lamb.
Cooking's all about being bold and adventurous, and this dish is exciting because it's slowly cooked, and the longer it cooks, the more flavoursome it becomes. Marinating the lamb first. Chilies, we're going to use a mixture of red and green. Take off the tops and just slice in. Garlic, crushed. Don't worry about chopping these ultra fine, just get it in there. Cooking for up to 3 hours, everything sort of blends and almost sort of pures itself together. Smoked paprika goes brilliantly well with the chilies. 2 teaspoons in. A touch of dried oregano. Some little cumin seeds. The blend and the fragrance that they give out is extraordinary. They release a little oil as well and helps to tenderize the lamb. Touch of salt, pepper, cinnamon. That sort of sweetens up the lamb. Olive oil, just a tablespoon. And the olive oil helps to sort of stick all those wonderful spices to the lamb. Jump in, just start really rubbing.
At this stage, you can leave the lamb to marinate for anything from half an hour to overnight, allowing the spices to really penetrate the meat, giving amazing results when you tuck in.
Delicious. Vegetables, carrots and onions, and that's it. Sliced. Secret of slicing vegetables for braising is not getting too thin. You slice the onions too thin, they burn. You've got that horrible char taste on that slow braised.
Braising is just a chef's term that means cooking in liquid on a low heat, making the meat incredibly moist and beautifully tender.
So the secret of braising is having a really nice, thick, durable pan. Get that nice and hot. Just a touch of olive oil. Lamb in, hold the bone, because you're in control then, into the pan. I want that white fat to start rendering, so it'll add more fat, therefore making it a lot more flavoursome as it braises. Chilies, cinnamon in, mix that up. And don't be scared, you're not burning this, you're sort of searing the lamb shanks, and this is the important part right at the very beginning. We're getting the colour on the lamb, which washes off as it braises in the oven, so be generous with that colour. Vegetables in. Wow. And then a couple of bay leaves. So now you lift the lamb up and get the lamb sat on top of the vegetables. Now, deglaze the pan with red wine. Deglazing means that you're cleaning the bottom of the pan and you're getting that amazing flavour washed off and lifted up into that sauce. It can really transform that dish. Always deglaze.
Then bring to the boil and cook for about 10 minutes to reduce.
The wine's reduced down by half. Now for the stock. Bring that stock back up to the boil and then into the oven. Now, don't cover it. When you cover it, all the condensation comes off the lid. Your lamb becomes grey. All this effort and that exciting spice gets washed away. No lid and into the oven for 3 hours.
A slow cook on a low heat of 160 degrees gives the spices time to work and transform the meat so it's mouth-wateringly tender.
Now, look at those. Out, on to a plate. You can just see that meat sliding down. Juicy and incredibly tender. Grab it by the shank, roll them around that rich, delicious sauce. Look at that. And get your sauce. Nice. Beautiful. Just get some mint. Don't chop it. Just pick that fresh mint and let it snow. And there you go, a very spicy, delicious, melting in the mouth lamb shank. Amazing.
Red mullet with sweet chili sauce.
Cooking is about being adventurous and having the confidence to go off-piste and being a little bit more daring. So when you start combining peanuts, chili flakes, and this amazing fish, red mullet, trust me, you're in for an amazing treat. We're going to make a really nice, light, sweet chili sauce. First off, your chili. Off with the top in half. And those seeds inside are very powerful. Incredibly hot, but full of flavour. Garlic. 2 cloves of garlic. slice the garlic, nice and thin, so it helps to puree the chilies in the pestle mortar. Garlic in, touch of salt, a little touch of sugar in, and then start grinding. Push down first. The salt and the sugar really helps to puree the chili and the garlic. Fish sauce, always a base to a chili sauce. 2 tablespoons in, and a touch of rice wine vinegar. Fish sauce gives it the saltiness. The vinegar gives it a nice acidic wake up. 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Nice. Mix that up. Beautiful. Look at it, the colours, incredible. Now, spring onions. I want the texture and the crunch. Spring onions in, the coriander. Slice it once. In. Fresh lime. And that goes brilliantly with the red mullet. Just really wakes up the chili, the garlic, and reminds the sauce that we're serving it with fish. Now taste. Wow, that's delicious. Look at that. Beautiful. The longer that chili sauce sits there, the better it gets. Now, for the peanuts and chili, that's gonna coat the top of the red mullet. Peanuts in, salt in. That helps to really grind the peanuts down. Some beautiful dried chili flakes. Creates a nice sort of warm heat.
I'm using fresh chili for the sauce, but dried chili flakes for the coating, which will really crunch up when cooking.
Just a little bit of the coriander. Mix the coriander in to the peanuts. And look, I like them quite textured. I don't want them too small as a powder, otherwise they'll burn, but crushed lightly.
To coat the fish with the chili and peanut seasoning, in a separate bowl, beat 2 eggs along with a splash of fish sauce.
Take your fillet, lay in your red mullet, dip it in, shake up your peanuts, and then in. And make sure you push that down, cover that red mullet. Oh, beautiful. Now make sure that pan's really nice and piping hot. If you put the fish in and the pan's cold, all those wonderful peanuts and chili is just gonna slide off the fish, so we need to sear it in and get it nice and crisp. In and lay away from you. Beautiful. If the pan starts getting a little bit too hot, get your olive oil and just place another teaspoon of olive oil around the outside so it starts to heat up as it hits the centre, and it really helps to stay so much more in control. And turn nice and gently. You want that nice sort of toasted, sautéed crispness, which adds a really lovely flavour. Tilt the pan and just baste the top of the red mullet with that really nice piping hot olive oil. You've got that really nice roasted crunch, and it goes brilliantly with that soft sweetness of that fish inside. Gas off and just leave them sitting in there and finish with lime and just go over each one. Now, we'll take them out. And the sauce, a touch on the bottom and the tail of each fish. Now to round that off, serving some fragrant rice, sauteed broccoli, amazing. And there you have a delicious peanut encrusted red mullet with a wonderful sweet chili sauce.
Cooking with chilies isn't all about blow your head off heat. This dish uses the exciting taste of a chili, but has a deliciously elegant and subtle flavour. Spicy beef salad.
Chilies, if you use them confidently, they can really add a new dimension to the style of cooking. But the real trick is finding that balance of flavours that really suits you, because that's the most important part. So, this is the most amazing sirloin. You can see it's got that wonderful marble. For me, the secret behind this is cooking it quickly. Season the steaks generously. Salt and pepper. Push that seasoning into the sirloin. Take the sirloin out of the fridge literally 20 minutes before you want to cook them so it gets up to room temperature. They cook more evenly, but more importantly, you can actually season right inside the steak. This little bit of fat down here, season that as well, because that is what we want to roast and get that really nice and rendered. Olive oil in, a tablespoon. Roll that round, As it starts to smoke, in with the steaks. Into the pan and lay away. Again, into the pan and lay away. If you don't hear that noise, the minute those steaks hit the pan, don't put them in. So the secret now is getting that colour on the steak, turning it once and once only, and cooking it for 2.5 minutes each side. What I want to do is to get that bit of fat rendered so it adds a lot more flavour. Just hold the steak down like that. And that starts to melt the fat, which makes it so much more tender. There should be no white fat left anywhere. Turn them over. Really important to have that steak up to room temperature before you start cooking it. So the inside is nice and warm, so it spends less time in the pan and more time cooling down. Really important. Now, 2 fingers, touch, it goes in, it says rare. I'm happy for them to be rare because by the time I let them rest, they're going to go back to medium rare. It'll continue cooking. Out, onto a plate and let them rest. 1, 2. Let's get my juices over. Don't waste that. Really important.
Next, the spicy dressing. Take the seeds out of a chili to reduce the heat by rubbing it in your hands and tapping until the seeds fall out.
Cut it in half and just chop it in. Garlic and chili works brilliantly. A quick way of peeling it. Get your knife and just slam it down. Just pops out very, very quickly. In, a little touch of salt. Rub. Start going around in circles first. You'll see it pureeing. Nice. Clear that off. Now, we've got the heat in there from the chili and that richness from the garlic. 2 teaspoons of palm sugar. This is where it starts to have that nice, sweet, sour effect. Fish sauce, fresh lime. This is a simple, fresh chili dressing, and it was something I fell in love with in Vietnam and Cambodia because it was just so easy. Give that a little mix and dissolve the sugar. Quick taste. Wow. Right, vegetables.
A great fuss-free way to get super thin ribbons of carrot is to use a veg peeler.
When they're that thin, they take the vinaigrette so much better. And radishes, just slice them down at an angle. Lovely. To give another dimension to the salad, I'm going to use a banana shallot. They are incredibly mellow, very sweet. Across, just chop up the shallot and mix that through. Want some sweetness in there now. Little vine tomatoes. Slice them in half. Tomatoes in. Shallot, radish, carrots and tomatoes.
Next, peel and slice cucumber, chop spring onions, and shred baby gem lettuce.
And then finally, get some fresh mint. It's young mint, so you don't need to take all those stalks off. What we do is hold the bunch upside down and then take it for a little trim and just chop that once through. And you got that nice minted salad. A couple of tablespoons of dressing. Don't flood the salad with the dressing. We can always add, but we can't take it away. Now really mix that dressing in there. Make sure all that chili and garlic and palm sugar wraps around that salad. Beautiful. Onto the plate. The steak's rested. It's now nice and medium rare. That little bit of fat, we don't want to find that in the salad. Just slice that off. That served its purpose. It's kept that steak nice and moist. Just slice. Going with the grain, it's almost like slicing through butter. And look, inside, beautiful, pink. You slice the beef too thinly, then it goes stone cold. And more importantly, all the goodness runs out of it. Nice, thick slices. Get the beef and start placing it around the salad. Take a little teaspoon of your dressing. The rest of your salad, sit that on top. We'll finish it off with some toasted peanuts. Peanuts in. Now those nuts are really toasted. Nuts on. Get under the pan and just crush. Once they've cooled down, just run them through with a knife. You can hear how crunchy they are. Another texture, another taste of the salad. And then from there, sprinkle. And then finally, take that, just finish it with a little tablespoon of that sauce. And there is one tasty, very well textured, spicy beef salad.